Right folks, can't see a damn thing.
No, it's blinding, isn't it? I've left the gate open for you.
Oh brilliant, thanks guys.
There's nobody behind.
Not many people about at the moment.
No, it's quiet.
You're the first person we've seen this morning.
Yeah, I think it's the same for me as well.
Have a good one.
Yeah, cheers, have a nice trip guys. How far are you going today?
Right to the top.
To Llangollen, yeah? Okay, morning people. You'll see, I think the boat behind me, I just stopped for water, didn't get water because the taps are still frozen. It must have gone below zero here last night obviously. Better shut up because these joggers are catching me up, of course, as any object will eventually do. Morning. Dog's catching you there. Morning.
Morning, alright.
So, this is, it's annoying because I'm not touching. Well, am I going to? No, so far not. So far not with wild overcorrections. No. I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to have to change the name of this channel because I've just basically got into this lock without touching the thing. Slow this jalopy down. Before we nudge the gate. That'll do nicely. Okay. Lock duty. Yes. Need to go this way. Now, what I didn't do was prepare my little stepping off area down here, because what I normally do is I use this little kind of trucker's step thing first off some water, because after 3 strong coffees I'm a tad reptilian around the mouth area. So there's the lock behind me. Bit of a tinge of regret really, sort of moving away from the hills, you know. There's some gratuitous side scenery shots. No! My waving the camera just led to some serious bush interaction there. Not that you want high speeds as such, by the way. You know, I don't want the thing to race around. because there's not many stretches where you can do that without annoying people, to be honest. You know, maybe in the winter a little bit, but what's the point? What, you know, unless you've got a serious mission on, you're desperate for water or some other thing, and you've got to make a place at a certain time, you're never really interested in speed, or I never am. Is that lock open? That lock's open. Oh, right, okay. Okay, yeah. Like, they seem to know what they're doing, unlike my good self. So, if they've left it open, that's good enough for me. Right. Right, that is that gate shut. So now I can just loosely secure the boat on a bollard over here. And I think, once again, I'll use the front bollard to do it. I don't know how this knot could have gotten in, because it's a knot where the rope's gone inside of itself at some point, and I just didn't do that. Anyway, belly aching. So, rope, 4 turns around the bollard there, and the back gate swung open. Brilliant. So I need to go back. Just noticed before I get going on these front gates. So that line there will stop the boat going back towards the sill. It's a bit of a long line, it's not ideal, but, well, it's better than it hitting the sill, isn't it? Because if they, well, not hitting the sill, but catching on the sill down here, the canal nerds will know that at the back of these locks, there is it's a sill, like a window sill, but spelt with a C, and it's marked by that white stripe there. That's where, and it sort of comes up half the height of the lock or so. And if your boat is at this back end of the lock, the back end of your boat can catch and hang up as the water's going down. And it does happen. Tragically, it does happen. So this gate is clearly prone to opening, so I'm going to get a bit of a move on and go and start letting some water out before it opens again. If it opens slightly, it's not a problem, because the water coming out of the lock will sort of pull it. We'll pull it closed. So let's get this paddle open. And okay, so I'm going for it, paddle fully open, and I'm going to nip across and just keep my eye on the boat, make sure it's all not moving backwards. And you can see the invisible rope there, it's moving backwards now, or trying to, and this rope will stop it. See, the rope there's holding it, so I don't have to worry about it going onto the sill. And now it'll rebound and it'll start moving forwards a bit. But basically it's under control, no problem. Always, especially when you're going down in a lock, always keep an eye on your boat when you're single-handed. It's not so bad, obviously, if you've got someone on board, you know, because they can gun the engine, they can react, whatever. When you're single-handed, you know, yeah, you've got it, you're the one. You're the man. I don't know what that impression was, but I don't know if you can just see the sill being exposed as the water level falls at the back. that is what the boats catch on. As I say, tragically, it still happens maybe once, maybe twice a year, and some, you know, poor person or couple, you know, family, whatever it is, they lose their boat. Just can't imagine. Be like watching your house burn down, basically. Right, okay, so I've just checked, the gate's moving, so the water level is, it's level inside and out. So now it's time to get one gate open and lower that paddle on this side. Okay, it's especially important in the winter. I mean, in the summer you never want to waste water and leave locks open or paddles open, and you know, you never want to do that because it's a precious resource, genuinely. And on some canals it takes a lot of energy to get the water back up to the heights where it comes down from, because it's not always natural rainwater and rivers and stuff. Sometimes you have to pump it back up. So it's a precious resource. Now why have, yeah, the gate's open. Okay, so just step across and we can lower this paddle and get on the boat. Now, just let's get this down. Right, so now the gate's open. You have to open both gates with a double lock. You will have seen this again, the canal nerds will know. With a double lock, you can just open one gate and sneak your boat out through that. Obviously you've got to be careful, you don't want to touch the gates, you don't want to damage them. They take a lot of wear and tear, these gates, so and they're massively expensive to repair, so you mustn't be irresponsible with them. Sound like some kind of canal warden, don't I? But it doesn't take much effort to do it, and it saves a lot of money and preserves them for everyone. So there she blows. Now normally in a deep lock I'd be struggling to jump down onto the boat, onto that roof, but I'll do it this time. I would, on a deep lock I would have to go round and use that ladder to get back down onto the boat. But here they're shallow enough, these locks, this one, that I can just about chance jumping down. It's pretty much at the limit. I think a lot of people would, do you know what I'm going to do? To be extra safe, I'm not going to jump, because what if I slip? I'm going to go for it, jump double-footed, okay? There we go. It's one of those things that looks, you know, you're looking down on a jump, it looks higher. It's one of those. And guess who didn't put the step in place? Now, apart from those two joggers, so far I've seen no pedestrianos. Right, I'm going to take the windlass with me, just in case I've left any paddles up. Not sure, can't quite see. Right, why am I walking on the muddy grass when I've got a path? Stop being a plonker. Or at least try and reduce it a bit. Reduce the hours of plonker duty. So, right, there we go. That's the gate shut. And gate shut. These little gates are great, like generally quite manageable, fairly light, etc. But the big gates, and by the way, on a double lock, of course, that would be a single, that would be one of the pair. Right, they're more challenging. Right, paddle is down, and paddle is down. Great. a self-opening gate. Right, okay, so clothing down here, ready. Right. Don't need the windlass anymore. Fabulous. Might need the gloves later, but at the moment it's looking fine. So, coat choice. I think coat choice is du jour. It's the anorak. So, through the locks. Oh, what's going on? There's no remedy for this at all. I suspect about 4 to 5 miles, so about 3 hours cruising, and it is 11:18. So I'll probably be at Ellesmere around 2 p.m. Some fuel filters have a drain plug at the bottom of it screws in like a cylindrical thing, a stubby cylinder that screws in with a rounded bottom, and on that rounded bottom, nobody's going to be interested in this. What am I even saying? Look, I've started something. Do you know, I think I need my peaked cap. It's too small for me, but it would really help, I think, with this sun, and it's not far. I think I can grab it in a second. Do you know what? I'm going to give it a go. Right. So the way this is panned out is I've now ended up with two options. I've ended up with this thing, which it is too small. There's no expanding it. It's very tight on my skull, but it's not even keeping the sun off particularly well, unless I sort of do this. That feels faintly ridiculous. Not faintly either, properly ridiculous. Okay. Second choice, check this out. Second choice is the more traditional narrowboater's cowboy hat. Dashing, I feel, perhaps a slight a rakish angle to it. I'm going across the canal, what I'll have to do. Ladies. Yeah, no, I know. No. At least, you know, look, I know I look a prat, and I always rattle on about cowboy hats and that, but it's genuinely, it's yeah, the sun is right in my eyes. When the sun changes, when I change direction and I'm pointing away from the sun, which I will do shortly, I think when I get to the bend, the famous bend, I'll turn left and turn east, and I'll remove the hat then, because and this one almost fits as well. This doesn't feel like a sort of a crazily tight fit the way some of them do, and thankfully nobody has to see it on me either. I don't know what style it is. It was advertised as some kind of made in, was it Brazil, from tarpaulin, so it had that sort of jungle chic, which is not necessarily, you know, the accepted fashion for the Shropshire canals. I can not have the sun in my eyes, and if anybody comes, I can whip the thing off and not be seen. Excuse me. And it's a nice mooring. It's extremely quiet. This time of year, not many boats are about anyway, and not many are stopping at New Marton. So I've been there, I think 3 nights, maybe 4, and I think 2 of those nights there've been boats close by, and 2 there's been nobody. So frankly, I'm asking to get axe murdered up there. But hey, up the revs. Okay, right, sun is now on my right hand side because we're now heading east. So for the time being, I might turn south again. I think I do the sun turns, plus it's going behind the cloud. So, no more hat. Now, I don't want to, I need to sort this out because obviously I've got hat hair now. Okay, first person I've seen. Looks like a young girl. This is, so I'm coming up. This is the disused railway bridge. Do you know? Bridge 10W. That's, I sort of went through it like wondering in awe, like it was going through the Argonath in Lord of the Rings. You know, what could this be? And it is funny how you get a different view of the canal and the surroundings and all of that. You do get a different view on the way back in the other direction. It is genuinely, you know, I've heard people say it, but it is true. So